What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozor here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys having a great day so far. In today's video, we got two rebalanced champions here, keeping up with Plarium's monthly rebalancing of old champions. So far, they've been pretty good about doing it every month, at least for 2026. So that's really good to see. In this case, we got two really old champions, and yeah, they were desperate in need of a rework. And we got it. Let's go over some of the Plarium commentary here. Today, we present two rebalances for the 1.1.75 update, Robar and Abbess, guys. Robar and Abbess, two really old veteran vault-keeping champions. They are getting a little bit of a rework here. First, Robar. We continue to work our way through the Orcs faction, and Robar is next in line for his 2026 makeover. Now, this is interesting. So they deliberately are going through the Orcs faction, which means that potentially more Orcs are going to get rebalanced soon. Just quickly hopping over into the Orc faction here, you guys can take your pick on which ones need a rework. I mean, they just did the Neg. Maybe Growhack would be next. Kinkarog got reworked at some point. Zarguna, maybe. Nogdar, I think, got reworked too. Varro seems fine. Iron Brago seems fine. Maybe Jag, Bells, and the Void ones I don't really think they're gonna touch. But anyways, talking about Robar here, they got, what else they say? This veteran champion haven't seen the light of day for some while, so at least they recognize that. So today we're introducing changes that will help him take on faction wars faster than ever. Armed with new empowering buffs, True Fear, debuff, and a shiny new passive, Robar is ready to crush alongside his fellow orcs. The next champion here is going to be Abbess. Speaking of veteran champions, Abbess is another figure from Raid's earliest days who has fallen short of her potential in 2026. Not having a passive skill is a major drawback. We're giving her a simple yet effective new passive, while also revamping the rest of her kit to boost her overall damage output and debuff efficiency, so you can focus more on building her with offensive stats. Additionally, the damage increase and defense ignore on her A3 has been reworked, making it easier to fulfill the conditions. Great. All sounds amazing, right, guys? Guys, let's first talk about Robar here. So first, we're going into his A2. Currently, his A2 is a attack all enemies, has a 100% chance of landing decreased defense. Yeah, that's it. That's not enough, right? So what it's going to be in the future? In the future, it will be before attacking. He also places increased accuracy and increased attack on himself. And then each hit, I'm not sure how that makes sense, but anyways, for the hit, he's going to land decreased defense and True Fear. This ability instantly became top tier because it's a 3-turn AoE ability, landing decreased defense and True Fear, and then he self-buffs himself before all of that happens. So he gets increased accuracy and increased attack. Really top tier 3-turn cooldown ability here from Robar. Let's go on to his A3. His A3 previously was just an AoE attack. It increases damage if the target is under any of the hard CC stuff. Now, after the buff, he will also ignore 20% of the target's defense and shields. So just a straight buff here on a 4-turn cooldown AoE. You know what? I mean, double AoEs here. He can be a decent damage dealer, especially with the decreased defense on the A2 coming in. And lastly, his passive gets a little bit of a rework, or actually he gets a brand new passive. Fills the champion's turn by 15% whenever a Fear, True Fear, blah, blah, blah is placed on an ally, excluding this champion. Placed on an ally. Okay. Fills all allies' turn meter by 15% whenever this champion places a stun debuff on an enemy. So the only way he can place stun is on his A1, and it's a 50% chance. If he lands the stun successfully, he gets an extra turn. So, I mean, it's going to be, sometimes happening, not crazy, but sometimes happens. Counterattacks with the stunning strength skill whenever a ally from the Orcs faction is attacked. So he will use his A1 and counterattack whenever anybody on the team is attacked if he's from the Orcs factions. Okay, so that means more applications of the A1, which means more turn meter boosting, which is great. That's amazing. Let's see, his ally accuracy in faction crypts is increased to 80. And his speed is increased by 5. So yeah, pretty good buffs. These are pretty solid buffs. I really like the buff to his A2 Wild Swing. Yeah, a 3-turn AoE decreased defense with True Fear with the buffs to himself. That's really, really good value. And a brand new passive that makes makes him CC more, gives your team more support with the turn meter boost, and he's getting a speed boost to his stats, and then his aura boost also. Very, very good, solid buffs to Robar. Definitely worth bringing him out, especially for Orcs factions. I like it. I like these significant buffs. You gotta make them significant enough so that people actually take a look in their vaults. Okay, let's move on to the next champion here, and it's going to be Abbess. Abbess from the Sacred Order faction here. I have an Abbess. I had an Abbess for a very long time. Here is Abbess's brand new kit. So currently, her A1. Single target hit, remove one random debuff from this champion and place it on the target. It's pretty terrible. It's going to get reworked to the same ability, but she also has a 100% chance of stealing a random buff from the target. Okay, a little bit better with the damage multiplier increase. So that's good. The A2 currently is an AoE attack with a chance to land a decreased defense. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. Again, similar to Robar. It sucks for a legendary champion. Now, after a rework, before attacking, she will place the decreased defense. It will ignore unconditionally target's defense by 15% and shields, and will also give her an extra turn if she kills somebody. So now the ability is much stronger. And then she places decreased defense before attacking, which gives you a chance to get an extra turn out of this, which is very, very nice. All right, so that is a significant boost. Love to see it. Shield buff, sure, a little bit of support for your team, that's fine. Let's check out her Divine Wrath A3. This is a pretty big ability from her. So getting a nice rebalance here on the A3, she will now have a flat 15% ignore defense, and then we'll go up to 30% ignore defense instead if this champion's attack is greater than the target's defense. We'll also ignore unkillable buffs, and then she gets a multiplier increase too. That's pretty nice. That is quite good. So what else? Ascended ability. When it's ascended, she also places increased attack on herself. Yeah, that's really nice. So she self buffs herself with this ability. She can go and crack through the entire defense with the big ignore defense. And yeah, she gets the multiplier increase here. It is a 4-turn cooldown, so it's pretty big, and she doesn't get a lot of damage from books, which kind of sucks. But let's see how strong these new multipliers are before we make our final verdict. She does get a passive here, brand new one. Let's see, the brightest light. We'll ignore 25% of each target's resistance if this champion's attack is greater than the target's attack. So usually that's going to happen. So then she gets a little bit of accuracy relief. Increases this champion's attack by 5% for each buff received or stolen. Received or stolen. So I guess if your own team applies buffs to her, she will get 5% attack, and it stacks up to 50%. So pretty easy to max this out, I think, quickly. And then she's going to get a little bit extra attack. Usually you see like 100% boost, but here you only see 50%. The aura is going to go from 34% increase ally attack in faction crypts up to 40%. I mean, it's a pretty negligible negligible increase, to be honest. But cool. She gets a little bit of bump there. You know what? She has 96 base speed. Honestly, she could have, benefited from 5 extra base speed. It wouldn't kill them to give her a couple extra base speed here. But I think for her, the most important part is that she hits hard. If the multipliers are good, then she's going to be viable, right, for Sacred Order. Decreased defense, obviously still very good. She self buffs, which is great. But yeah, she's still probably going to be like a glass cannon, right? Her base stats are pretty horrendous. Like I show base stats here, 14,000 base HP, good base attack, but yeah, 96 base speed is pretty slow, gotta say. Still stuck in 2020, I think. But yeah, hopefully she can hit hard. She's in the Sacred Order faction, which is competing against, would you use her over somebody like Ezio, for example? Would you use her over somebody like Ezio? I don't think so. I think Ezio's a little bit better in a lot of ways. He has survivability. He has this really strong single target attack. He has poisons, and then he has a decreased defense here. Maybe Abbess would maybe replace him, I guess, in some DPS slot for faction wars. But we'll have to see. In the case of Robar, I think Robar might see a bit more use just because the Oryx faction is a little bit more thin, especially since Robar will be providing AoE decrease defense, um, which I think is pretty useful. And he brings crowd control too, like fears, which can really help just against faction war waves. But anyways, those are the updates here. Robar and Abbess, truly two Vault veterans. I think they're good enough to bring out now. We'll have to check the multipliers on both of these kits, but any kind of boost to their damage would be definitely well received. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Is this enough to bring them out of your vaults, to build them out, to put them on your faction wars teams? Let me know. Appreciate you guys watching until the end. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.